Hi, I am going to teach you about how you become diabetic years before you become diabetic and some of the things you can start doing about it from today. Research shows that the cause of heart disease is not cholesterol or saturated fat. The condition that underlies heart disease is the same that underlines diabetes, obesity, and Alzheimer's, which is now called the type 3 diabetes. This class of conditions are the comorbidities for COVID as well. If you wipe out the precondition, you save a lot of lives as a medical practitioner or an individual who is health conscious, because your immune system functions better. The need for dietary changes can't be overemphasized. Insulin resistance leads to cardiometabolic diseases, which includes prediabetes, which is nothing but diabetes that they haven't put a number yet. Diabetes is pre-heart disease. 80% of diabetes or diabetics die of heart diseases. People who have diabetes are 4 times more likely to have Alzheimer's, which is memory loss. It is a straight line which starts with insulin resistance. This is why you hear me talk about not allowing yourself get to the point where you become insulin resistant. So, it starts with insulin resistance. 10 years later down the line, you're somewhere on the cardiometabolic spectrum. Insulin resistance is treatable, preventable, and reversible with diet or nutrition. Insulin resistance is an error in carbohydrate metabolism, so how your body processes carbohydrate. It is when your body is unable to handle the carbohydrate load you're giving it. Put simply, your body doesn't know what to do with all the sugar you give it. Everyone's overload point is different. So what may affect me or get me to a point where I'm insulin resistant is different from how it may affect you. It is really important to take from what I am about to say today that it is really important to take from what you hear today that carbohydrates are bad. What is important to note is that we have an individual reaction to carbohydrates. That the carbohydrates we are eating now are different to what was eaten in the history of humankind. When you have not adjusted the amount of carbohydrates in your diet. Let me break it down. Let's take a child who comes back from school and goes out to play. He eats an apple and blood sugar goes up a bit. Almost every food raises our blood sugar a bit. The pancreas wakes up and goes, there's sugar in the bloodstream. Let's secrete some insulin. Insulin is the hormone whose job it is to collect the sugar in the bloodstream to prevent high blood sugar, which is dangerous. It escorts the sugar to the muscle cells. Why? Because they need energy, which is good because the little boy is riding his bike, jumping, and being active. Then his blood sugar goes down because he is using up that energy deposited in the muscle. He comes home, he's hungry, and has dinner. That's a healthy metabolism. Let's fast forward 30 years later. We wake up stressed, and we're stressed, thinking about all we have to do, and the stress hormone causes hunger. and contributes to the whole condition, to this whole condition. You wake up and no time to make breakfast. You stop at your local coffee shop. You order a latte with lots of sugar, or meat pie, puff, donut, whatever. You order this low-fat blueberry muffin because it can't harm you, because it's low fat, but it's full of sugar. You eat it, and now what happens? Your blood sugar is now up the roof, where it was never meant to be. We never hunted 900 calories low blueberry muffins. The pancreas goes crazy and pours insulin in to mop up the sugar. Oh God, this is damaging. Into the muscle cells everywhere. These cells at some point will be like, hold on, why do we need these sugar when this person is going to the office to sit at his desk or her desk for 7 hours and then go home to sit with the remote watching Netflix? Please take this energy somewhere else. We don't need any energy. Then the cells become resistant. This is how you become insulin resistant. If you live on a noisy street, after a while you don't hear the noise. You become resistant to it because every day it's there. The cells are saying, go away, insulin. It's knocking on the door and they are not hearing. This is a disaster because you get fat. Why do you get fat? Because when insulin has the sugar and it's trying to save your life and try to keep your blood sugar from going up the roof, it's going to go anywhere else. It's going to go anywhere it's welcomed. Guess which cell welcomes it? The fat cells. They will happily take it because they have the capacity to. Now, all of a sudden, you're putting on belly fat. This continues, and after a while, the fat cell says, no more, and I don't need it. You may still not be diabetic at this point. Nothing terrible has happened. Now you've got high blood sugar because it's got to go somewhere, or because it has nowhere to go, because your fat cells are full now. High insulin, because it's desperately trying to get the sugar out of your blood, but everywhere is full. It's trying to get it out of your bloodstream, and that's the beginning of diabetes and your heart. And here it gets worse because high insulin, high blood sugar begin signs of metabolic is the beginning sign of metabolic syndrome, which is pre-diabetic or pre-diabetes, now called insulin resistant syndrome. And then